Good evening. This is Lavender Cloud Tarot coming at you with the F. Scott Fitzgerald reading. He wanted it to be Monday, not Tuesday. He's coming very softly right now. The first card is action. He wanted to share with everybody that his life as a young man was filled with vibrant emotion, situations that he couldn't really control. He's saying something about poverty as a little boy, as a child. He had many relationships as a child, tried to have friends, tried to have people in his life. There's something about a birthday that was missed. He said he struggled greatly with that, knowing something about knowing that all these relationships that he had in childhood didn't foster any major development. It's a lot of pain when he was young. I have a feeling that he said something about sickness. I don't know much of his childhood. Sickness. Even though there were times he felt everything was okay, he had moments of belief. It was a spiritual belief. He loved his mother very much. That's coming through. He had a great relationship and respect for her when he was small. I get a feeling that he wanted to be closer to her. He was a little bit of a joker. He had a great sense of humor, even though it felt like it's almost like he was covering something up as a child. He's coming through tonight saying he had to hide himself away. It's almost like he was trying to gain respect inside of this poverty, this situation. He said that there were deaths of family members. I think there were siblings that had passed away. He said it's like they almost just went to sleep. Kind of like it was almost eternal night. And that really bothered him as a child. He felt like being one of the surviving children was extremely painful. It was almost like arrows through the heart. He was expected to be more than what had happened in the past. He was expected to be, I'm getting the word devout. He was expected to be devout, intelligent, strong. He said it was almost like being a lonely bird in a flock, where most of the flock has been hunted. The flock has been hunted by disease and death. He's like the only one left. He felt like that. The sting of death affected his family greatly. That's how it's coming through, is like major childhood depression. And then later in his life, he's asking to be very gentle on this topic, so we're going to be very gentle. He said it was constant battling with someone very close to him. She was wild and she was young and she was free. Some of these cards like to hop out. He tried very hard to woo her, to give her what she so desired. And it was almost like the desire was so great. It was almost like he was dying while he was with her. It's like she was so alive and he was almost like, I get the phrase, mortem vitalum, like the living death. He was trying so hard to give her everything: fame, fortune, love, glitter, gold. And he said that there was an obsession that grew from the very first moment that he saw her. He believed he could give her the world. He said her name is Zelda. He said he doesn't often like to reference names, dates, situations, but in this case he will say his wife. How she wanted everyone to adore her. How she wanted people to almost fall in love with her at first sight. And he said he fell in love with her very quickly. He recognized her gifts and her beauty, and it was richly rewarding, but it was also incredibly volatile. He mentioned something about these great parties, extravagance. He mentions how all he wanted was quiet. It was like almost sacrificial. Like he wanted something that was idealized. He didn't want the moral decay of society. He wanted beauty and he wanted good things. He wanted to be able to write. But things were always getting in the way. There was I'm getting the feeling of a third party. There was an obsession, a power struggle. He was trying to bring her back into the fold, back into his life after the other man entered the situation. He mentions the devastation. He said it felt like it was all about wealth from the very beginning. The lavish parties, the alcohol. I get a big feeling of alcohol, riches, devastation, him seeing everyone else around him. I get the feeling of people are like in a whirlwind. The bright lights. He said he remembered so many parties where he would be drinking and the light would hurt his eyes. It was almost as though he was bedazzled. It was almost like he was blinded, like all these bright colors, like a bird of paradise. And he remembers having several conversations with Zelda about his writing and how badly he wanted to make her happy. I get the feeling from him, because he is with us right now, that all he felt for all of those years was a dedication to achieve, to love her to his fullest capacity, even though the alcohol played a big role. It was hard for him to focus, he said. He sometimes did go through her diaries, or he would go through poems that she had written, because he wanted to write their lives. It was all about his hopes, his dreams, his wishes, his desire to achieve greatness, even though he knew that greatness was moral decay. It was actually pointless. He himself knew that everything in the end was gone. Everything, every bit of it. Even though he lost his faith in Catholicism, he was devout for many years. It's what I'm getting from him right now. He lost a lot of faith through the drink, through the parties. All he wanted was balance, cooperation, and help from his wife. And he said he felt like a lot of that got lost in his, like almost like this maze of alcohol. Like he was constantly roaming, he was turning, he was confused, he was loud, he was boisterous, he was a joker, he was a drunkard. And he said he was not proud of that. He was not proud of that behavior, but there were so many demands on his life to be the greatest of the great, to be somebody that literally outshone all of the rest of the literary world. Talked about his time in the military a little bit. He said he would not recommend that to anyone. That's actually, I can understand how that could be very frustrating. He said it was like living very poor, living almost hand to mouth. He said he's not anti-military, but his time was not pleasant. It was not pleasant. He says his hope for humanity is to believe in your hopes and your dreams. And even though things may seem completely empty, hollow, and pointless, to not get rid of those dreams. Give yourself a chance to believe in yourself and to do great things. He said he felt like he did damage, even though all he wanted to do was give people everything that they wanted. He wanted to give his readers something to digest, something to absorb, something that would attach to their souls. He just didn't want to write tripe. He didn't want to write just pointless meanderings. He wanted to write his life. I feel a great sadness right now. He said he feels incredibly sad, constrained. He misses the life he once had. But not with the fights, the arguments, the alcoholism. He does not miss that part. He had a great love for people, and he wanted to always be his authentic self. But he said in the end, we're all alone. I'm not disagreeing and I'm not agreeing. I'm just saying that's what he's coming through pretty loud and clear, that in the end, he feels like we are completely alone on our journey. He said there are times that you will constantly give, and you will give, and you will give, and you will give, and it's like you will never receive. He said that's how life with Zelda felt sometimes. He said he didn't believe that she was a narcissist. He just believed that the psychosis and the egotism fueled him to just drink more and more and more. And it's not that he didn't love her. He said that he felt like they were just both so young that they didn't understand. That they were very young when they were married. Incredibly young. And he said, the biggest blessing in the world, in his mind, he said, Scotty. And he said, try to go back to Zelda. He just mentioned Scotty quickly. He said Zelda had incredible strength. She had this like spirit that could light up the entire room. He said he so loved her for that. I get the word ruin. Like they ruined each other. They ruined one another. He said he felt like it was always a battleground. Even when things were good, there was always a battle. There was always something brewing. He said he felt like he could write 1,000 years. And it would never be long enough to satisfy her. He could pick up the pen. He could scratch out notes on a piece of paper or read something in her diaries to use. But he would never be the rich, desirable, whatever that she was expecting him to be. He said again, that doesn't come from hate or dislike or anger. It's like it's coming from a place of desiring what you cannot attain. You cannot attain something. It's like pouring, he said, it's like pouring water into a bucket with a hole, and you just keep pouring water. And you can't do anything else. He said there was so much desire to please. Zelda was his world, he said. He said they were each other's worlds at one point in time. He mentioned Europe, something about beach, swimming. He said, even though it was incredible, it was mesmerizing, it was gorgeous, it was beautiful. He said that was the time their marriage died. That's when the decomposition started. And he wanted to make it very clear that even though there were infidelities and there were times of angst, times of great chaos, he always loved Zelda. That it was always so incredibly important. That even when they were apart, he said he did not want to go into that. He doesn't want to talk about the times that they were apart, except that he always wanted to write her letters. He was always overjoyed every time that they would give and receive correspondence. I get this wonderful feeling of joy, this warm smile from him. I feel him smiling. I can hear a little bit of laughter too, a little bit. It's like almost like he's chuckling. He said he's starting to grow tired. I can feel it. I can feel the energy slowly slipping. And for his last card, to tie up his reading, he said he accepts everything that happened. He accepts full responsibility. He said everybody played their role in this situation. He said, don't forget to love your life every single minute of it. Because before you know it, it's gone. And that concludes the end of my reading. Thank you, F. Scott Fitzgerald, for sharing your energy with us tonight. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for giving us a few insights. Thank you to my viewers and putting up with my random uploadings, and thank you for your patience. I love you, and talk soon.